everything that's going on and concerns that you guys might have about, the virus and safety on campus, how good of a job do you think that Coach Doran and the other coaches have been in terms of being approachable and for you guys to be able to come and talk to them about any concerns that you might have?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Coach Doran specifically and Coach Garrison, offensive line coach, they've been very transparent throughout the whole process and relaying information as they get it to us as players. So with that aspect, they've been great. Every time they get a new batch of information on COVID as it's updated to them, they tell us right away and get it to us. And in terms of procedures to make sure COVID doesn't spread within, the Mercury Center and practice and stuff like that, I think they've been great. We've been spread out in meetings and meeting rooms. The O-line especially, we go into a larger meeting area so we can be more spread out as opposed to our traditional meeting location, and wearing masks, getting us to making sure we're making sure we're spread out during lifting, and making sure we're not coming in contact or contact tracing, making sure we're staying with the same group of guys who we live with and stuff like that. I think personally they've been doing a great job, and just hopefully we can keep up, reduce the outbreak cases we have, and ensure that our players and staff are safe.
Mike Topher.
Hey, Joe. Hope practice went well today. I want to ask you a question. I've lost time now, but Liberty, I think it was a few weeks ago or last week, they caught some flack when their head coach said they weren't testing as frequently. They were testing for COVID about every other week. Obviously an opponent for you guys. And then this morning, actually, two of the team leaders for Syracuse University said that the team would be willing to boycott a game if they felt their opponent wasn't following proper protocols. I'm not sure if you've thought that far ahead, but, would you have concern if you've heard an opponent isn't, kind of doing those standards as far as going into a game and playing?
From my understanding, the ACC is going to have protocols in place for every school that has to follow. And if the school doesn't follow those protocols to their standard, then they would have to forfeit the game. So I'm not 100% worried about that in terms of once we get to the season. In terms of NC State, we've been testing every week. We've been getting the results back within 12, 24, 48 hours at the latest. So with that aspect, I'm not too worried about it. Because I know there's procedures and protocols in place that would have to be followed for the game to even take place originally. So,
Brett Friedlander.
How good was it to go out there and start knocking heads and getting some contact again today?
It's been good. It's been nice. During the off season, we've been, football was a real question mark. And as we got closer and closer to the season, we didn't know if we were going to be able to have contact during practice. But being able to, get back to actually playing football as opposed to just, spreading out and doing walkthroughs and talking through things is a lot more fun than sitting around and just questioning if we're going to even be able to hit at practice. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I know a lot of my teammates as well have been having a good time.
What's it like playing with those shields on your helmets?
It's not ideal, but honestly, there's way bigger things in place, way more important things to be worrying about as opposed to having a shield in front of your face at practice. So it's not ideal, but I don't mind it at all.
Thanks. And by the way, you had somebody photobomb you from behind there.
Oh, yeah, it's Kodak. I didn't see nobody.
Corey.
Joe, for you last year, obviously you were able to play in 11 games. You got to see the different rotations, obviously guys like Justin going down throughout the season, but you got to see Kim Kwanu step up in that role from last year. How good of a player was he coming in as a true freshman last year, and what are your expectations for him going into this year at that left tackle spot next to you?
Icky did a great job. It's very rare, especially in the offensive line position, where true freshmen come in and they start get starting reps just starting throughout the season. That's even more impressive. I was really happy with him. You know, Icky's he's a funny dude. As I get to sit next to him every day, or play next to him every day. Excuse me. And I'm sure he just has a high standard as I do for myself, for himself. So I expect great things out of him, but I also expect great things out of the entire offensive line as a whole. I think this year we're coming back with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, given how many injuries we've had to deal with in the past, and switching through guys. But I think this year we've built a lot of chemistry off the field in terms of the offseason, as much as we could through COVID, and we're building even more of a strong offensive line unit as we get through these practices.
As a follow-up to that, how good has it been to have both Witt and Tyrone Riley back as well?
It's been great. We get to have more and more depth of the offensive line. With more depth builds more competition. With more competition builds stronger players, in my opinion. So I've been great having them back. Excuse me. Having Tyrone back off of injury and Witt off of injury, that was really good seeing him back there, and I think they're having an even better time themselves.
Thank you.
Jonas.
Yeah, Joe, when we spoke with Coach Dorn a couple of weeks ago, he talked about because of how unique the season might be that so many different guys might have to play. Like if some guys go down because of COVID, the third string guy might have to play. Have you seen the coaches put more emphasis on like making sure those guys a little bit further down the depth chart are ready and prepared just in case they have to be thrown in there?
Yeah, no doubt. As COVID cases come and guys have to get quarantined themselves, guys may have to switch and play positions. I can speak for myself. I've been taking reps at all three spots in the interior offensive line, left guard, right guard, and center, just in case if, Lord forbid, a guy gets tested positive for COVID in the middle of the season, he has to sit out for 2 weeks. You got to be able to have flexibility and move guys around. And I think it's been good. We've been seeing offensive line specifically, I can speak for, seeing guys move around, playing positions that they, typically wouldn't be seeing as much practice time with, just because we want to be ready. And, the first time a guy has to switch sides on the ball or goes from right to left or, guard to tackle to guard to center, whatever the switch is, it's not the first time during the season. And we have a little bit more of bank reps with it.
All right, Gibby, last one, and then we're going to move on to Tyler.
Yep. Joe, do you keep track of what's taking place across the nation? You see the Big Ten and the Pac-12 shut it down. And does that kind of worry you a little bit that this season, you guys might not get a fall season?
As of right now, they're saying we can play, and that's all I'm really focusing on. And I know a lot of guys on the team, that's all they're focusing on too. Of course, it's hard when outside sources try to get in there and ask you comments, or you see so many schools speaking out. But I think I could probably say for the team, we want to play, and we were willing to do anything whatever we can to get on the field, this fall and ensure that we actually have a season. But as things update, we're taking it one day at a time. So all my mind is right now is going to practice tomorrow or on Friday and doing the best I can. So just being prepared for whatever situation that arises.
All right, Joe, thank you.
Yep, no problem, Annabelle. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye.